Quarter 3, week 2, day 1. Kathy has 3/4 of a yard of fabric. Okay, so she doesn't have a full yard of fabric. She has 3/4 of a yard of fabric. She needs 3/10 of a yard for each doll dress she makes. How many doll dresses can she make? Well, we know we have 3/4 of a yard of fabric, so that's what we have to start with. And we're going to see how many 3/10 we can divide into it. Okay, so at this point we need to divide, and we know that to do that for fractions, we have to keep the first one 3/4. We have to change this division sign to a multiplication sign, and we have to do the inverse operation, or the reciprocal of that one, which is 10/3. Now, you know I like to see if I can cross-reduce to see if I can make life easier later to not have to simplify. So let's look at the 4 and the 10. Is there something that goes into both 4 and 10? Yes, 2 does. All right, so we saved ourselves a little bit of simplification already. 2 goes into 4 twice. 2 goes into 10 5 times. All right, so let's look at the 3 and the 3. Can we cross-reduce any of that? Yeah, obviously 3 goes into both of those. 3 goes into 3 once. 3 goes into 3 once. All right, now we got some real simple numbers to work with. 1 times 5 is 5. And 2 times 1 is 2. So now it's 5/2. Okay, otherwise we would have ended up with 30 over 12. Okay, so then we would have reduced it, but we already have 5/2, nice and simplified. So how many times does 2 go into 5? 2 goes into 5 twice without going over, so 2 times 2 is 4. We have 1 left over out of 2. Okay, so there's our answer, 2.5. We can make 2.5, or how many doll dresses can she make? Well, technically she can make 2. So 2, because you can't make a half of a doll dress. So, but 2.5 is the exact answer. And then of course she would be able to make 2 doll dresses. All right. Find the difference. Remember, difference means subtracting, and there's our minus sign right there. So we are subtracting decimals, so we have to line them up. Remember, adding and subtracting, line them up. Okay, so we have 680.8. Then we're going to have to put 44 here. 0.73. All right, we're going to subtract those, put the 0 right there. All right, can we take 3 away from nothing? No, so we're going to have to borrow from the 8, make that a 7. This becomes a 10. 10 minus 3 is 7. 7 minus 7 is 0. Can't take 4 away from nothing. Make the 8 a 7. 10 minus 4 is 6. 7 minus 4 is 3. And 6 minus nothing is 6. Bring down the decimal. All right, we have our answer right there. We have 636.07, or 636 and 7/100ths would be another way that you can say that. So there's the difference. Write the ratio in simplest form. Okay, well, we have a ratio of 3 to 9. We're not sure what it is. It could be 3 dogs to 9 cats. I don't know. Okay, but that's our ratio, 3 to 9. So we can actually double both of those, right? 3 times 3 is 6. 9 times 9 is 18. Okay, so is that the ratio in simplest form? No. Actually, we went the wrong way on that one. We don't want to go higher. We don't want to scale it up. We want to scale it down. So instead of multiplying something into 3 and 9, we're going to divide something into 3 and 9. So what is the biggest number we can divide into both 3 and 9? Well, the number 3, right? So if we do 3 divided by 3, that gives us 1. And if we do 9 divided by 3, that gives us 3. And there's really no way to simplify it any further than that, so the ratio in simplest form is 1 to 3. At the gym, one balance beam is 15 feet long, while the other one is 162 inches long. Okay, well that was nice of them. They gave us the length in feet for one balance beam and the length in inches. So now we're going to have to kind of compare one to the other. So we have 2 different options. We can take the 162 inches and divide it by 12 to see how many feet that is. Or we could take 15 feet and multiply it by 12. Okay, and so to get how many inches total. Okay, so I guess we'll go ahead and just do that one. We'll do the 15 feet times 12, and then we'll have inches to inches. 5 times 2 is 10. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 more is 3. Okay, then we'll put the little x there, and then 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 1 is 1. So the answer is, well, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1. So 15 feet is 180 inches. Okay, and the other one is 162 inches. So which balance beam is longer? Well, the balance beam that is longer is the one that is 180 inches, which would be the 15 feet. Again, we could take 162, and if we did 162 divided by 12, we'd end up with 13.5 feet. Okay, again, 13.5 feet would be less than 15 feet, so no matter which way we did it, we would find our answer. What is the value of 7 times 3x minus 4 plus 4 to the third power when x equals 6? Okay, so let's go ahead and plug in 6 for each one of those items. So we have 7. Let's make sure we have, 7 times 3 times 6 minus 4, and parentheses, plus 4 to the third power. Okay, so the first thing we could do is look for it in the parentheses, and we have to do that first, right? So we have 3 times 6, which is 18, okay, and then we have 18 minus 4, which is 14. So now we're left with 7 times 14 plus 4 to the third power. All right, so remember that 4 to the third power is not just 4 times 3. It is 4 times 4 times 4. Okay, so if we did that, 4 times 4 is 16. And then 16 times 4 is 64. So this whole thing is 64. So let's rewrite that. 7 times 14 plus 64. All right, so now we have to do multiplication, so here's multiplication, here's addition. So we're going to have to do the multiplication first. So we have 14 times 7 would be 98 plus 64. So then we do 98 plus 64, and that will give us 162. All right, so that's the answer if you follow the order of operations, 162. List 3 values that would make this inequality true. And if you look, we have an n on this side of the inequality, which means we have 2 things now that we need to get rid of to get n by itself. We need to get rid of both the 8 and the 4. Okay, so we're going to have to do something on both of those. So I'm going to rewrite it. We have 8n plus 4 is less than or equal to 28. All right, so we need to get rid of the 8 and we need to get rid of the 4. So in this one, you kind of do things opposite of the normal order of operations. You would do the addition and subtraction and try to get rid of that first. So we do have this plus 4. So we have a positive 4. What would you do to get rid of a positive 4? You would subtract 4. Okay? So we're going to subtract 4 from both sides. If we do that, on this side we have 8n. Okay? A positive 4 and a negative 4 becomes nothing. So that's all we have left on this side is 8n. So we're going to put is less than or equal to 28 minus 4 is 24. All right. Now we need to get rid of this 8. Okay, 8 and n right next to each other is multiplication. The opposite of multiplication is division. So we're going to divide both sides by 8. 8 goes into 8 one time. So we're just left with 1n is less than or equal to 24 divided by 8 is 3. So there we go. Our answer is n is less than or equal to 3, which means it can be 3. And then could it be 4? No, because n has to be less than or equal to 3. So it could be 2, it could be 1, it could be 0, it could be -1, it could be any negative number at all. So n is less than or equal to 3, and here are 3 possibles, and there's basically an infinite number of additional ones you could possibly put there. So as long as it is 3 or less. Renting a movie from a Redbox costs $1.29 for each night. Okay, so $1.29 each night. So basically, if you had it for 3 nights, it'd be $1.29 times 3. Oh, but there's also a plus a one-time fee of 50 cents. Okay, so one time, on one day, we're going to have to pay the $1.29 plus the 50 cents fee, and then each night after that, it would just be $1.29. So that'll be useful to know. It says, how much would it cost to rent a movie for 3 nights? Okay, 3 nights would be $1.29 times 3. So $1.29 times 3 is $3.87. So is that the total cost? Not quite. Okay, so you're going to have to take $3.87 and add the one-time fee, okay, the one-time fee of 50 cents. Okay, so if you do that, $3.87 plus 50 cents is equal to $4.37. So that's one of the answers. Okay, for 3 nights, it's going to cost this. But then they're also saying, what if you rent it for 10 nights? Well, you take $1.29 times 10, okay, and that gives us $12.90. But once again, we're going to have to add that one-time fee. So don't forget, you have to add that one-time fee one time. So it ends up being $12.90, okay, plus 50 cents, which is going to be $13.40. Okay, so for 10 nights, $13.40. Find the area, and this here is called a parallelogram. So the formula for the area of a parallelogram is area is going to be equal to base times the height. And the base and the height have to be perpendicular. Okay, so they have to have 90 degrees. Okay, so this one cannot be the height. Okay, or I mean on the left side cannot be the height. Okay, so that cannot be the height, and the one angled on the right side also cannot be the height. So this is not the height, and this is not the height. The one right here at 90 degrees, that would be the height. So all we have to do is base times height, right? You could also see it like this. The base is 9, the height is 5. 9 times 5 is 45. And remember, if it's area, it's going to be in units squared. So it's 45 centimeters squared. That's how you find the area of that parallelogram. Carla needs to purchase carpet for her living room. What is the area of Carla's living room? Well, I went ahead and realized, okay, we don't really have the formula for like an L shape. Okay, so one way we could do it is to kind of just go right along these red lines that I created already. Okay, so if you do that, okay, then we have 2 different shapes that are pretty easy for us to find. Okay, those shapes are this upper square, which is 6 by 7. 6 times 7 is 42. And then we have this bottom one, which is 10 times 5, which would be 50. So then we add 50 plus 42 is 92. So it's going to be 92 feet squared. Just to show you, we could have also sliced it a different way, sliced it up and down, and that also would have given us 92. The last way would be to find the whole box and subtract out the small box, also giving you 92.